Today, we're going to dive into a timeless parable about a search for treasure. But here's the thing, this isn't really a story about gold or jewels. It's about the profound truth of where we find what we're truly looking for.
The real treasure is within you. This one sentence is the heart of our story, but its meaning only gets unlocked at the very end of a long and pretty unexpected journey. A journey that all starts with a simple man and a really powerful dream.
So, our story kicks off not with some bold adventurer, but with a humble shepherd. His world was, well, it was peaceful, it was simple, shaped by the rhythm of the seasons and the needs of his flock. This right here was his entire world. The familiar old church, the constant presence of his flock, and the shade of that big oak tree. It was a life of routine, a life of comfort. But something was about to shake it all up. Night after night, the same vision came to him. A magnificent treasure just waiting for him. But it wasn't nearby, not even close. It was thousands of miles away, in a land he'd only ever heard stories about, buried under the Great Pyramids. Now this wasn't just a dream, it felt like a mission. It was a call to adventure that he just couldn't ignore.
And so, the shepherd makes a monumental decision. He decides he's going to leave the only life he's ever known to chase a dream. He sets out on an incredible journey, straight into the unknown. I mean, think about the sheer scale of his commitment here. This was no weekend trip. He left everything behind. For months, which then turned into years, he traveled. He faced all kinds of unknown challenges, but with them came new wisdom and a much bigger view of the world. And then finally, after that long, tough journey, he arrives. He's standing in the shadow of the Great Pyramids. The destination from his dream is finally real.
So he's made it. After years of dreaming and traveling, the moment of truth has arrived. But the story is about to take a sharp, totally unexpected turn.
Can you just imagine that feeling? The complete exhaustion from the journey, mixed with this incredible surge of hope and excitement. He picks a spot and starts digging, absolutely convinced that with every single shovel of sand, he's getting closer to changing his life forever.
And just like that, in an instant, his dream shatters. He's seized by soldiers. After all those years of travel and sacrifice, his quest ends not with a treasure, but in captivity. He's a prisoner, thousands of miles from home, with absolutely nothing to show for his journey.
Desperate, the shepherd tries to explain his story, but all he gets is laughter. The captain of the soldiers calls him a fool for chasing a dream. And then, in this moment of just cruel irony, the captain reveals his own dream, one about a treasure buried under an oak tree right next to a church, way back in a distant land. A dream he boasts that he was too sensible to ever follow.
And this is it. This is the moment of revelation. The shepherd's dream sent him all the way across the world to Egypt, but the captain's dream, it points directly back to the shepherd's own home. In that instant, in the depths of his failure, the shepherd finally understands. He hadn't traveled all this way to find a treasure, he had traveled to find the map.
The captain thought he was just mocking a fool, but he had unknowingly given the shepherd the final piece of the puzzle. The real journey was just about to begin. The journey home.
Think about this return trip. He's not going back empty-handed or defeated, not at all. He's returning with wisdom. He had to travel all the way to Egypt to learn where his true home was and what was waiting for him there. And the beautiful irony of it all is that the treasure was hidden in the single most familiar spot in his entire world. The one place so obvious, so close, that he never, ever would have thought to look there. So he returns to that familiar scene, the church, his fields, and that old oak tree. He digs in the very spot where he used to rest every single day. And there it is. The treasure he spent years searching for was under his feet the entire time. So what's the real takeaway here? The story isn't just about finding gold and jewels, right? It's a metaphor for a much, much deeper kind of treasure.
This is the core message. The source text tells us flat out, the real treasure is within us. Our purpose, our talents, our happiness, they aren't in some distant land. They're right here, just waiting to be discovered.
We can actually break the shepherd's path down into 4 steps that apply to pretty much any of us. First, you've got to hear that call, that dream that just won't leave you alone. Then you have to embrace the journey, even when it's hard. Next, you'll inevitably face a crisis, a moment where it feels like it's all over. But it's from that crisis that you gain the wisdom to finally see the treasure that was with you all along.
And this is the final, crucial insight. The shepherd couldn't have just dug under the tree from the start. Why not? because he didn't have the perspective. Sometimes being too close to something can blind us to its value. He had to go all the way to Egypt, face failure, and gain some distance to finally recognize what was right there in front of him. The journey itself was the key that unlocked his ability to see.
Ultimately, the parable turns its question back on us. It suggests we all have a treasure waiting inside. So the real question is, how far are you willing to journey? And what challenges are you willing to face to finally unearth